All right. Today we are going to see about quicksort. Okay. So of course, yesterday we saw about merge sort, and I told that in merge sort, if there is an array, what we'll do is we'll call the array into subarrays. We'll basically partition them into two subarrays using the mid, and then we'll further divide them into two subarrays, and we'll keep on doing this until there is only one element in the array where the um, splitting will stop. And finally what we'll do, we'll compare the left array and right array. Whichever is smaller, we'll put them first, and whichever is greater, we'll put them second, and we'll build this array up so that the final array will be sorted at the end. The problem with this array is, of course, the time complexity is O of n log n. But the problem with this array is we are taking extra space. It's not a in place sorting. We are using new arrays to create that subarrays. When we are partitioning and calling the recursive program, we're calling new array every time, which consumes extra memory. Because of that, this sorting will take O of n space complexity. Okay, so that's the limitation with this approach. But other than that, this is a good approach. So we have a better solution to address this problem, where we can use the in place memory of the original array but still achieve this O of n log n time complexity. So that's where quicksort comes into picture. Okay, that's where quicksort comes into picture. So how does quicksort work? In quicksort, basically there is few things that we have to keep in mind. Number one, we have to assume the pivot element. We have to assume a pivot element. What does pivot means? Pivot means a random element that I'm going to consider in an array using certain logic. For example, let me say that every time in an array, my last element is my pivot. I'm going to consider that A of end index as my pivot. Okay, this is my assumption. So what will I do after doing this? My assumption is, after doing this, after finding this pivot, I'm going to partition this array into um, I'm going to rearrange this array using a logic called if elements in array less than pivot, keep them left of pivot. Okay, else move them to right of pivot. So for example, in this input, if the input array is 5, 3, 1, 4, 2, and the pivot is, let's say, 0. Okay, or let's say the pivot is, let me keep 6 here, and let me keep the pivot as 5. Okay, so how should this array be rearranged? It should be rearranged like 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, and then 6. Basically, everything left of pivot will be small, everything right of pivot will be greater. So that's the step. Okay, after doing this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the same approach, basically the same logic for left array and right array. In this thing, I'm not creating a new array. I'm just going to use the start index and end index using the pivot element. So whatever is left of the pivot will be a new array. Whatever is right of the pivot will be another array in my quicksort logic. But the index is going to be 0 to pivot minus 1 is one array. Pivot plus 1 all the way to the end is another array. Okay, so that way we are sorting only within that index. So at the end, everything will be sorted. Okay, hope you understood that part. Now, if I take only the subarray, this side is only one element, so it will be partitioned by itself because one element is sorted by itself. So we don't have to do anything. Whereas the left array is 3, 1, 4, 2. I told you that we'll consider a pivot element. The pivot element, I told the logic is always going to be A of end is pivot. So in this case, what it will become? It will become like 1, 2, and 3, 4. Why? Because the lesser elements will be on the left and the greater elements will be on the right. So less than pivot is 1, greater than pivot is 3, 4. So it rearranges like this. Okay, so it becomes like this. Now left of pivot is one array, so that is only one, it is sorted. Right of pivot is another array, that is 3 and 4. So I told you that the last element is pivot and there is only one element and it is smaller. So it will be sorted because that's only one element. So it will be 3, 4. Okay. So there is no change in this. Now, if we just build this array up, so it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This one becomes, and 5 is here and 6 is going to be here. So this is my final output. Okay. So this is how my final output will look like in this case. Let's do this algorithm for this logic. Let's write a program. Okay. So how will this problem look like? They will give an array. So they will give an array quicksort of input array, and what we are going to do, we are going to call another program called quicksort, and we are going to pass array and start index of the array and end index of the array. What is start index initially? It will be 0. End index will be array dot length. Okay, array dot length. And until when we have to do this operation? Let's say if my input array is empty. Empty means what will be the start index? 0. What will be my end index? Ideally -1. Because it's empty, correct? It will be ideally -1. Another case is if there is only one element, it's by default sorted, correct? I told you that if there is only one element, if array is empty, return. If array has only one element, return, because one element is always sorted, correct? So if there is only one element, what is the start index and end index? Start index is also this, end index is also this. So there is chances that 0, -1 is one case and 0, 0 is another case. Or in the sense, both start and end can be the same, or start and end, start may be greater than the end. So these two cases we should ignore. So if start less than end, only then do this operation. What does mean by start less than end? Start less than end means, so if there is 0 here, the value should be greater than 0. Means 1 or 2 or something like that. That means there is at least 2 elements in the array. Okay, that's what we are telling here. Okay, so if there is start is less than end, then do the quicksort logic. Otherwise, return the original array because it will be always sorted. So first step, what is the first step? We are going to do something called as partition. So partition of original array, pass the start index and pass the end index. After doing partition, what did I tell? I said in this partition we will get something called as pivot index. We will get the pivot index. Okay, we'll get the pivot index. Then we'll call recursively quicksort for array. Okay, array. But this time it will be start to pivot index -1. This is the left side of the partition, and I'll call another quicksort for array of pivot index +1, end element. Okay, all the way up to end. So this is my logic for the quicksort. Now I just have to implement the partition. Okay, so think about it. What is this partition meant for? This is meant for rearranging the original array by assuming a pivot. If I assume a pivot, I should rearrange the array such that all the elements lesser than pivot should move to the left, greater than pivot should move to the right. That's what I tell, right? After that, I'll take this subarray of left and then subarray of right and call the same program recursively so that it will finish this logic. Okay, so let's implement the partition logic. Partition of, it's going to take an array and a start index and a end index. Okay, what is my initial step? I'm going to take something called as pivot, and I'm going to say the pivot is always going to be array of end element. Okay, I told that it's just by logic. It could be anything. I can write a different kind of a logic also. Okay, I'm just assuming that the pivot is always going to be array of end element. Okay, for simplicity, I can take like pivot is going to be array of end element. So I've took the pivot as array of end element. Now, what is the next step? I should check if my elements left of pivot, okay, left lesser than elements in the array lesser than pivot should move to the left, correct? So I should iterate the original array. So the original array is ARR. I should start from I equal to start all the way to end. Okay, I should I don't have to do for end because end is the pivot element. I can do it until end minus 1 actually. Okay, I can do it until end minus 1. And I told that I need something called as pivot index. So I'm initializing the pivot index equal to start. Initially, I'm keeping the pivot index as start. Okay. So I'm moving element one by one. Let me take an example input in the top, okay, so that we can easily understand this. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have took 8 elements. Okay, I took some random array here in ordered way so that I can take this as an example. Now initially, what is my I? I is going to be 0 in this case. Okay, so I have to 0. So what is my p index? P index is also 0. I'm checking if array of index I is this value lesser than pivot. Is this value lesser than pivot? Array index, is this value lesser than pivot? If this value is lesser than pivot, then what I should do? I should swap I and pivot index, and then I should increment pivot index by 1. Okay, I should simply increment the pivot index by 1. Let's see. Okay, in this case 4, it is lesser than pivot. Okay, so this is my I and this is my p index, so it is lesser, so I should swap between I and p index. In this case I and p index are the same, so even if I swap, it will remain the same place. So now I and partition index will move to the next place. Okay, now 6 is there. Both are in the same place, I and partition index. So still in this time also, both will be in the same place, both will get swapped in the same place, and the value will move to the right. Okay, now 1 is less than 7. Actually this example maybe won't work out because there is nothing greater than 7 in this left side. So I'll put this 5 as 8 and maybe this one as 11 or something like that, and I'll put this one as 9. Okay, so that it will make sense. So now both I and p index will be here. Ideally ideally the partition index will not so I and partition index are here, so this will get swapped. So now I and partition index are here. Now this value is greater than pivot, so I will just simply move on to the next one, but I will not increment the p index. So the pivot index is here, but the I is here. So I is 8, 8 is also bigger, so I will not do anything. Simply I'll move to the right element in the right element in the array. So I is 2, pivot in it is less than pivot, so I'll swap these two elements. So 2 will come here and 11 will come here. Now I will increment the pivot index because there is a swap, and I will increment the I also. So I is now 9. Okay, I is now 9, and pivot index is 8. 9 is greater than 7, so I'll not do anything. 9 is greater than 7, so I'll not do anything. Now my logic is completed. Now what I should do, I should just swap the, finally after finishing this logic, I should simply swap the partition index, partition index and pivot element. Okay, pivot element is what? End element. End and partition index I will swap. Simply swap the partition and end element. So 7 is here, 8 is going to be here. Okay, I have simply swapped the partition element and the end end index. Okay, so now 7 came here. Look at it. Now this is my pivot, right? Everything left of pivot is small, everything right of pivot is greater. Now I will simply return this partition index. Return my partition index. If I return my partition index, it will be 4, correct? What am I doing after finishing the partition? I'm calling array, start index is 0, then partition index of, that will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. So I'll call the same program for this sub array. That is left side, and the right side is array, partition index plus 1, which is 5, all the way up to end, which is 7, correct? So I'm calling this function for I'm calling this function for all the way from next index of pivot to the end of array. So I'm calling it for the right block. So now the problem has resolved into sub problems. So I'll keep on resolving into sub problems based on rearrangement. Finally, once it is reaching the base condition, what is the base condition? If start is less than end. If start is less than end, it will be the base condition, which means there is only one element in the array or 0 elements in the array. Okay, during the condition, it will stop that and build the recursion, keep on going back to the stack all the way up to the main memory, to the parent call, and it will finish the sorting. And finally, we can simply return the original array. That will be a sorted array now. Okay, so this is about quicksort. If you have any questions, we'll discuss now.